Morning, Crazy Vapor fans. I am working on a leather sheath. I've wanted a handkerchief design, and so I've taken the design off the handkerchief, and we're going to try to make a dragon face out of it. I did try a stamp that I've had that I haven't tried before. We're trying some tribal marks. All this is going to be dyed black before we put the acrylic on it. I am putting the holes in it, these stitching holes. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Gotta get all the pieces for you. I will be gluing this piece in and then punching the holes on it before we dye everything, so that way everything gets coated right. And then the back of the sheath will get put on like this. And yes, I do have some imperfections here, but I will burnish it all before I dye it. So back of it will come like this, and I'll put some stitching on it to hold it. Hang on just a second. Okay, I'm back again. And then before this even gets stitched, I will put the, and this is my center mark here, I will stitch this on. I don't have any rivets that I really like, so this will get stitched on first, and then I'll be able to move it. The knife that I'm doing, the guy didn't know what he had. And for you knife collectors out there, you're gonna you're gonna poop your pants here. This is a US M3 Ariel. 1943 to 1945 US military issue. I will be taking this off. And he said that the handle is a little banged up. I may be able to redo it. Wood glue and some paint does wonders. Wood glue and sawdust. But yes, very. I wish I had this knife. But this is how it's going to fit in there. But the main reason I started this video is, yes, I've been watching Weaver Leathercraft, and he's the one that got me inspired to do this. Going around curves, yes, you only want to use either a 1-tang or 2-tang. I prefer the 2, that way I keep my 4mm mark. So I just go right in here and I line up with my little 1/8" scribe that I put in. Sorry. Now you don't have to hit very hard because you're only basically doing 1-tang. Now, I've got a problem here. Okay, so most people will just put their hand on here and, you know, especially if you're using like this one and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prongs stuck in your leather. You don't want to be going like that and coming up very hard. Now, it is inevitable. So instead of moving your piece around, press down hard and it comes right up. You don't even make sure your leather's dry. Don't do it when it's wet. But yeah, that's how I've been doing it, and it's kept me from wrinkling up this leather, because this leather is not the actual best of leather. I mean, it is Hobby Lobby and they call it premium leather, but when I'm putting drawings on it, and when it dries, if I wrinkle it up, it does get a weathered look to it. Now, if you're into that, you know, it does look cool, but sometimes you don't want a leathered look. But yeah, I found that using this to hold down the leather works real good. And looks like, and that is going to go perfectly right where I want it to. Okay, cool. Now if you see right here where I did scribe, I just made a little X. I think it'll look cool when it's all said and done. But yeah, this is ready to glue the back part on. And for my glue, I have tried several different types of glue. And so far, I like this glue the best. It holds like an SOB. You've got about 5-10 minutes to move it around, get it where you want, and then it is stuck. I've used super glue before, the gel type, the regular type. The regular type soaks in too fast and doesn't really hold. And super glue and rubber cement just don't seem to glue to finished surfaces that well. I've had it to where, like this, when I was stitching this a long time ago. I had this glued to this, and it was like actually coming apart on me while I was trying to punch the holes. So, you know, and this is my holder for my stitching tools, and I like it. Ow. Remember not to, it's still sharp. And, you know, if you wanted to close it, I didn't have no snaps at the time, otherwise I'd put a snap on. But anyway, this is going to get a, going to get a snap that looks like this. And so when it comes up, and I notice on most of the sheaths for this, when it, bye-bye that one, when it came out, that the guard was like clear up here. And like I said, I'm going to be taking this off, so I don't know what's under here. But according to Weaver Leathercraft, you really want your strap to be close to here. That way your knife is not sitting there doing this. And this thing definitely needs a good sharpening. It's not very sharp at all. Like I said, I can run like that, and it hardly even leaves a mark. So yes, this is an old knife, probably 80-year-old knife. I wish I had this. US M3 Ariel, Marinette, Wisconsin. Wish I had it. When I first started making this, I was only going to make a protector for it that only went this thick. And then I got to thinking, this knife is pretty thick right here. I put everything together. I'm probably going to have to take some scrap leather and maybe try to put another piece here. But anyway, if I was going to be stitching this thin part around this, it would have it would have been heck trying to stitch around another thickness of leather inside. So I went with Weaver Leathercraft's idea of taking this piece all the way out to the middle. This helps protect the stitching so it never gets in contact with the blade. Another thing I did, when this goes all the way in, I noticed this part here was hitting the corner. If you really want it to sit real nice and not, I went ahead and put a bevel on each side, because I don't know what's, you're out in the field doing something. So putting that bevel on there, I think, will really, really help. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and glue this part. I do have these little springs. Hang on. Okay. When you're gluing leather, I do have these little spring-loaded clamps. And that's not the best one. That rubber come off a little bit. They are pretty tight. So when I glue this together, I don't want to be putting this, even though it does have a rubber tip on it, it might leave an indentation right there. So this is the piece that I cut out from the middle of here. So when you glue your stuff together, like I said, this piece in here don't matter. But when you glue your stuff together, go ahead and clamp like that. That way you're finished. Your tooled leather is not getting marked up. And see, it don't really leave a mark on this, but you leave it on there for a couple hours, you never know. You don't want to ruin your good side that you just spent time tooling on and everything. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you guys an update of what I'm doing. I will show you a short video of the finished product, and as soon as I glue this together, I'll glue it to the back here also, and then we'll go ahead and punch. I'm going to punch the holes, but Weaver said you should go ahead and punch your first layer first. That way you're not trying to punch through all 3 layers at once. I'm not going to sit here and try to punch this layer and then punch another layer when this is done. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to glue it all together, call it good, and then punch it one more time. Because you punch these 3 times, you're going to get some pretty large holes. Which, when you stitch, you have to open the holes up just a little bit anyway. But I don't want it to look like complete crap. And then once we get it all stitched together, I'll go ahead and burnish, sand all the sides, burnish them really good so they all look pretty professional. Yet, this is my first leather sheath, so, and guy seemed like a pretty good guy. He didn't even know what he had. He just thought it was an old knife. But I've seen these online go at auctions for $250 depending upon condition, all the way up to like $1,500 is what they were listing it at. And this knife is in actually fairly good shape. Let's see what the handle looks like here pretty quick after I glue this. But if you had the original scabbard that come with it, the M8 scabbard, you could theoretically have this for $2,000 on an auction. And I feel honored that, he didn't even know what he had. I give him a $30 dragon knife, one of them Chinese collector knives kind of deals, as collateral. So, because this is a military issue, so he knew he'd be getting his knife back. But yeah, oh man, I wish I had this knife. If I was a dishonest guy, I would have, hey, I'll give you $100 for this knife. You know, he'd have probably took it, but I'm not. I'm an honest guy. I told him what he had, and he said, go ahead and let's see what we got and try to fix her up a little bit. I'm not very good at doing edges, so I'm not going to put an edge on for him. I don't have any machines or nothing. My stones are all crappy, so, you know, they're good enough for rig knives and everything, but no, I will not attempt to sharpen this. It does need a new edge. Looks like somebody tried to make a real shallow or a real high angle knife edge to it, and then got discouraged because of the high carbon steel, and just went ahead and made less of an angle, and he kind of rounded it off a little bit. So I'm going to let a professional sharpener sharpen this. But man, I wish I had this knife. Anyway, peace out, guys. I'm sorry, I only meant to have this a 2-3 minute video. Show you what you should do on your stitching holes. But I'll just have a quick video when I get done with the knife. I might, when I take this off, I might see what it looks, show you guys what it looks like, and see if we can't repair it at all. So have a nice day, y'all.